It's the end of the world as we know it. Oh boy. It's March 23rd, and this is your Monday Microdose. The strange times, they just keep getting stranger. First and foremost, I hope you're all doing well, especially if you are in quarantine. Indiana does not have a shelter-in-place recommendation. As of yet, most of my family in Illinois, however, are on lockdown. So wherever you are, I hope you're doing well. We're having the, I guess, normal March weather here, which I think makes it even more frustrating. 65 and sunny one day and, 34 the next, which is spring. I get it. And I don't know if it was 70 and sunny every day, whether that would make it better or worse. I have a feeling it would have to make it a little better. At least you could see the sun. Step outside your door and soak up some vitamin D. I'm not going to talk about the coronavirus all that much, although I do have a few thoughts. I live literally like 2.5 miles from my grocery, and I'm there. I don't do the once a week big buy. I tend to go sometimes every day, but certainly 3 days a week. And whether I'm on the bike or driving, I have to go right by it. So, I, like a lot of you, saw the insanity that still seems to be ongoing for whatever reason. The thought I had in the beginning was that all the meat, let's set aside the toilet paper and the ridiculousness of that, but all the meat was gone. Yet the bacon, the sausage, the rows of tinned fish, the jerky, the stuff that really will last a long time if you were really thinking that you were going to have to load in some food for the long haul, all that stuff was still available. But the stuff that is going to go bad or you're going to have to freeze, and I'm pretty sure most of these people aren't sitting on commercial freezers, stripped. Now, I was in there this morning, some of the meat's starting to come back, and the other stuff, the bacon and the sausage and the sardines and stuff like that were kind of picked over. So, but it's in the water. It's not like the virus has the ability to control your taps. And I'll be honest, I haven't, you don't come here for this kind of advice, but if I could just give a little bit, is turn off the cable news. I don't care what channel you watch. Just turn it off. Pay attention to your local news because they seem to be doing a pretty solid job. And, if something does happen in your town, obviously they're going to be the first ones to tell you. I just lost my train of thought. This is what happens, kids. So I haven't really been paying that close attention, and I'm not, delving in and devouring national news stories. I did see a couple of headlines, and I will admit they were only headlines, that gave me pause, and they were that there was a, what do you call it? Diseaseologist. I hate to throw real technical jargon at you. That said that these live markets in China were a ticking time bomb. And he said that in 2007. And that the people that do this sort of thing, could have started working on a COVID vaccine when SARS happened. But we as a people tend to not consider anything until it's smacking us in the face. And I think it's safe to say that we've all been, to some extent or another, smacked in the face. This too will pass. Everybody's taken a hit, except for the grocers. I think the grocers are the only ones that are making out in this whole deal. And, if, our memories tend to be pretty short, I think, and a lot of times that's to our detriment. So this will pass, it'll burn out, and it'll probably flare up again in the fall/winter, and we'll eventually develop some sort of herd immunity, and it'll just be like, the flu season. We'll have the coronavirus season. Isn't that a happy thought? Some things to do, turning to a bit of a happier note, some things to do while you're on lockdown, if you're looking for suggestions. Nothing cleanses the palate like Thor Ragnarok. I had my fill of COVID-19 and thought, what will bring me out of these doldrums? Thor Ragnarok. Every single time. I've also failed to mention on the last two videos that if you don't have Disney Plus, the Clone Wars animated series is worth the, I don't know, when I bought it, it was $69 for the year. I think it's probably still $6.99 a month. Worth the $6.99 a month for the Clone Wars animated series. 6 full seasons. One of the deals when they announced Disney Plus was that they were going to do the 7th and final season of the Clone Wars. You could skip the prequels, and I wouldn't blame you. Skip the prequels, just watch the Clone Wars animated series. It covers the same time frame. It's an animated series. The episodes are like 20 minutes a pop. And then you got a whole, when you get you had enough of that, and you go over and start watching The Mandalorian. Season 2 of The Mandalorian starts later this year. So there's a lot of goodness there. Musicians, obviously, I think are taking a big whack, and now is a great time to, support some of those more independent artists. Bandcamp announced a couple of days ago that they were waiving artist fees. And again, if I may make a suggestion, if you like New Orleans style jazz, and who doesn't? Let's be honest. Tuba Skinny. I think there's a half a dozen records on Bandcamp, and you can search for them on Bandcamp, or go to, I think it's tubaskinny.com, and that'll link to the Bandcamp page. It's a toe tapping good time. If you're more into your kind of traditional mountain music, Frank and Allie Lee. Allie is a native of central Indiana. They play a lot of house shows around here. I think her parents still live up north of Indianapolis or south of Indianapolis. I don't know. They're great. And, if you're not into any of those, I'm sure that whatever you're into, your favorite artist and or band is doing some sort of YouTube / Facebook, virtual house concert, and there's the ability to tip them. And if you have the means to do so, I would recommend it. Bike stuff. I am slowly, and I do mean slowly, starting to get my pack rat together. The next bike, finger quotes review that I'll do will be on the pack rat. What I've dubbed the People's Road Bike. It's a bike that has flown under the radar for far too long, and I mean to do what I can to put an end to that. Great riding bike. And, just imagine a traditional randonneuring bike and then put through the filter that is surly. And how can that be bad? It's not. I've also heard some whispers on in what I affectionately call the hobo bike touring community about Toby Henderson's Box 9 group. Toby Henderson was a pretty well-renowned BMX racer. That was never really my scene, but the guys that worked for me at A1 were certainly into it, and they knew Toby. And if you rode mountain bikes in the 90s and early 2000s, I guess it would be late 90s and early 2000s, and you had a THE fender on your mountain bike, that's Toby Henderson Enterprises. But Toby developed a 9-speed, a wide-range 9-speed drivetrain for mountain bikes. And like I said, there's some whispers out there about wanting to try that on touring bikes. I reached out to Toby, and he has agreed to send me a Box 9 group. I'm going to put it on my Bridge Club, and I'm going to try it out, and I'll let you know what I think. My concerns initially is that because it's a lot of, a touring bike kind of by its very nature is a lot of mixed surfaces, and that the jumps between, if you're talking about 11 to 46 cassette or 11 to 50 cassette, the jumps between those gears are going to be maybe a little too dramatic. Toby's quelled my concerns a bit on that, but we're going to find out. It certainly looks interesting, and 9-speed stuff is certainly going to be more durable than 11 or 12 or whatever the hell SRAM and Shimano are going to try to come up with next. So we got that to look forward to. I really do hope you're all doing well. It's a weird time, and that's the only thing I can say, is it's just weird. It's not doing much for my liver, I can tell you that right now. Take care of yourselves and each other. From what I can tell, like when these things happen, people, for the most part, are tending to be a little bit nicer to each other, which I think is, we could use a little bit more of that. Yeah. Until next time, be nice, work hard. There doesn't seem to be a much better time to ride bikes and play music when you can. I'll talk to you soon.